You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Patience O'Rourke. If we haven't met before, usually this is a baking channel, but if you have been following along or you know me in person, you know that we have been doing a kitchen remodel this past year. So I thought that I'd invite my good-looking hubby on so we can kind of talk about, he's the numbers guy. Like, I'm so bad with math and numbers and remembering figures and things, so I thought that we would kind of talk about the kitchen stuff, and hopefully this will be a help to you. I know when we were redoing our kitchen, I was on YouTube watching video after video of people, their stories about their kitchens, so I would kind of take note, like, okay, this is something I want to do, this is something I totally do not want to do, and kind of seeing what's worked for people and what hasn't worked for other people. So we're hoping that this will be a help to you. We'll hopefully share some helpful tips along the way. So, hey, okay, so I'm literally hiding in a corner from my kids so I can film this real quick. So I'm in the process of editing this video for you guys, and I'm realizing that it is pretty sporadic and not very well organized. So as you listen to it, just kind of show us some grace. This is the first time that Nate and I have filmed a video together like this before, and as I'm listening to it, I'm realizing we really should have had a better outline or direction as far as what order we were going to talk about things, because it's kind of just the two of us kind of going back and forth, sharing the things that we remember and cutting each other off and all that. So I was really procrastinating putting this video out because of how disorganized it was, but there really is some helpful tips in it still. And I'm just gonna put it out there anyway, otherwise it'll just never get done. So hopefully you guys can gain a little bit of helpful input between all of our ramblings, and have something that can be a help to you if you are doing a remodel in your home using insurance money. Hopefully just sharing our experience with this as newbies who have never really done anything like this before and kind of don't understand the terminology and stuff going into it. Maybe kind of sharing our experience with that can help some of you guys going into this to have a little bit more knowledge under your belt and be able to go through this a little bit more gracefully than maybe we did. I don't know. So hopefully this will help you guys if you guys are going through a home remodel yourself using insurance money. So just forewarn you, just think of this as like a live husband and wife doing like a YouTube live talking back and forth format type of thing, because this is what you're about to get into. So enjoy. I guess we should start with, I had a whole video about why we remodeled our kitchen. Would you like to kind of share like why exactly we did? Because that really has a lot to do with how we remodeled the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. It was because of black mold.
There you go. There you go, folks.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was easy. If you want to hear like all the details, I will link that video below. But basically, yeah, we had black mold, so insurance paid for us to remodel our kitchen. Yeah, so do you want to kind of just start with insurance? And I guess we could kind of talk a little bit about, I mean, do you remember how much money insurance gave us?
Overall, I believe they gave us $9,000 to start off. We had $9,000. That was for everything. So that's upper cabinets, lower cabinets. That had to do with even the flooring, which is another story. But even the flooring and all that was supposed to be in there at one point. Had to do a backsplash.
They said they would replace pretty much almost everything. That $9,000, I thought was a lot of money. Yep. Didn't you think it was a lot of money when we first got it?
Yes, definitely thought it was a lot of money. Thought, hey, with $9,000, we can get this whole place fixed up and save some money. And we didn't realize how expensive it was to do a whole kitchen over again.
So, what was kind of the process with insurance?
Normally, what they do is you have to have a contractor come out and say what price they would want you to pay for the actual whatever it is. Say you're doing cabinets. Okay, this is how much it'll cost for us to do the labor. And then you would go to a store and you would find out from the store would give a quote. You would email that quote to your insurance person and say, oh, that makes sense. That's a good, fair price. and then they give you a check for that.
Like cut that first check, and then you kind of talk about how much it really is going to cost you, and then they cut you a second check. And then at the very end, when you're all done and you turn in like a picture of your stuff, don't they cut you a third check?
Yeah, what do they call that? They call that the
depreciation check.
Depreciation check, yeah.
So depreciation is basically the money insurance is going to give you up front is only the money that equals the amount of what your stuff in your house was worth before it got damaged. So like us, our kitchen was very old, probably original with the house. Our kitchen was old. So the money that they give us is just to replace the amount that those old cabinets are worth. Like if we were to sell just the stuff in our kitchen, like that's how much money they give us first. Is that right?
That's
and
right.
then after we complete the project, we send them a picture saying it's completed, and then they give us a little bit more that they had cut off for the depreciation. So basically they say, okay, their kitchen is X amount of years old, so we're gonna take off, like this is how much money it should cost to replace their whole kitchen, but we're gonna minus out like 7% of that because of the depreciation. Like the value is not there, what they need replaced. But then after the project's over, if you complete it to their satisfaction, then they give you that 7% or whatever that they cut out. Is that correct?
Which ended up being about $2,000 for us.
Yeah.
Depreciation.
So, I don't know if 7% is the figure that they use to figure that all up, but they have all these figures that they use for that. So, okay, so they give us $9,000 to start, but didn't they give us a little bit more after that? How much do we have total to work with?
We had a check for $9,000. Then we got a check later on for almost $7,000, and then we got a check for about $3,000, right? About maybe it's $2,000, and then we got our depreciation check at the end. It was about $2,000. So that adds.
So in the end, like around $20,000.
Around $20,000.
Which sounds like a lot of money, and that was. Yeah. Now, one thing we ran into is our house has a USDA loan. And so it works different, and even the insurance company didn't understand this exactly right, and it kind of got, maybe you guys know this, but do you remember when they gave us the check, it had our name on it and the mortgage company's name, which makes sense because we don't fully own our home yet. And so...
Yeah, they definitely own more of it than we do.
Yes. So that was a hassle because we didn't even notice that there was a second name on the check. So we're like going to try to buy our stuff, but we had kept the check like safe here at home and didn't deposit it until we were ready to use it because we didn't want to like have it in our account mixed up with all our money. We probably should have just opened a separate bank account.
So that was a really sad day.
There's a tip for you. Open a separate bank account for all your remodel money.
Yes.
That was a sad day.
It's a sad day. We went to the bank that day, and we went and we drove to the bank. We had 3 different checks. And we were excited about it.
Because we were like, we're going to buy our stuff today, so let's go deposit the checks, and then we'll drive straight up there and order our kitchen things.
Yep. And so we got there, and they said, actually, we can't deposit these 2 checks. 2 of them out of the 3 had the mortgage company's name on it, which, again, is pretty normal. We found that out, and we were kind of bummed, and then we found out that we had to call our mortgage company, and that was
such a hassle.
That was a struggle. So if you're going to call your mortgage company, that's very, very hard because obviously they want your house to look nice because they own most of it. You know, depending where you're at, if they own even half of it,
and they want the work done right.
Yeah, they want it done right. So it depends what state you're in, depends what county you're in, even. But what you really need to look into is the rules of where you live, where you're at, your county. Look it up and say, okay, what do I have to do here? For instance, they were telling us we needed to have folks that were licensed for certain things. And not for everything, but for some of the stuff, we had to have someone that was licensed. And I had talked to them and said, hey, I've got friends that, this guy built his own house. Okay, he built his own house. I think he knows what he's doing. And for us, found out for our state, it was not something we had to have a licensed person for. But they really wanted us to, because obviously, again, when we sell this house, they own it, the mortgage company. They want to make sure that it's nicer than when we had it before.
Right. So you want to look into the laws of your state as far as building codes and all that. You obviously want to follow the law in your state and see, or follow the rules that your mortgage company or insurance company has. So our insurance company, I will say, was amazing to work with. They like
incredible.
Bent over backwards for us, and we love our insurance company.
Yeah,
it has been
our insurance company is the
amazing.
best.
Now everyone's going to wonder what kind of insurance we have. Do we say that?
Should we tell you? I'm not sure we can tell you or not. I don't know what the rules are.
Is that like a bad thing to say?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But if you want to know.
It's progressive.
Oh, yes. It's progressive, yes.
If we put that in there.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Our insurance company was amazing to work with. Our mortgage company was kind of a pain, but we got it all worked out.
But eventually our mortgage company did just say, hey, we'll just give you those checks. That money there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a pain. We had to mail the checks in for them to sign. They had to mail them back, and then so our whole project got put on hold a little bit.
So something else that you really need to understand if you're going to do this project, when it comes to the mortgage company, you really have to have like you have to have an understanding that they're going to hold that money. So when you send those checks in, it's not like they just sign them. They actually hold those checks. And then when you do the work, you send receipts in and they say, here's the money. Well, we didn't want to do that because we had friends doing the work.
Yeah,
and
that was such a pain.
It was like, we really can't do that. So I talked to them a little bit about it and explained to them. But actually our mortgage company was pretty good about it because our mortgage company ended up saying, you know what, we're fine. We're fine with it.
Yeah,
and they actually sent us it. All the money.
Yeah, they wanted to like micromanage everything, and
which is normal.
Only give us the money that we needed for each item, and if we didn't use any of it, at the end, if there was some left over, I think they were going to just keep it, or something. I don't know. But yeah, but Nate worked with them. Nate's like such a good people person, and they were able to just...
They weren't the big
They changed their mind. One other thing I forgot about insurance, how great they were, is our meals.
Oh, yeah. Woo! That was the best part.
So, yeah, because...
That was the best part about insurance.
Oh, my goodness. So, listen to this, guys. Okay, so because our kitchen was going to be, like, out of commission for months and months, or however long.
Yes.
They said that they would pay for all of our meals during the construction process. Yeah. Anytime when our kitchen was not usable, so anytime there wasn't a sink and a refrigerator hooked up, they would pay for our meals.
It was amazing.
Oh my goodness. They even offered to put us up in a hotel. Yeah. They said, like, if the construction is too much, during the weeks of when you're doing that, we'll put you up in a hotel. Now, we did not take them up on that. We have 6 kids. That's just such a hassle for us.
I told the guy, no, we can't. I'm sorry, but 6 kids, 2 different rooms. Nah, we'll stay here. We'll brave the black mold. Now, if you're allergic to black mold, then obviously you want to get out of the house, and obviously it's bad for everyone, but it wasn't to the degree that we had to leave the house at that time and talking to the insurance. But yeah, we definitely did well with meals, though.
Yes. So they paid for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for our entire family of 8. So it's the 2 of us plus 6 kids at any restaurant that we wanted. And we questioned that. We're like, okay, what does this actually mean? Because the first week of meals, we were just getting bare minimum, like how we would buy for our own family.
Right.
No desserts, no drinks. Like that's how we normally go out to eat, right?
Yep, that's usually the way to do it.
That's what we were doing the first week. And so basically how it worked is we just bought everything on our own card, like with our own money. And then, but we took pictures of the receipts and had to turn those into the insurance agent, and then he would then every week
he
reimburse us for those.
So what he said was when we did the first week, I kind of apologized to him, and I was like, I'm sorry about how much we've spent this week. He looked at it, he said, no, you got to be kidding me. He said, this is so low. And he said, you can get dessert for the kids. He said, that's what he told me. You can get dessert for the kids. You can spend a little more here. You are paying for this. And
you can get lemonade and soda instead
shout out to our agent. He was awesome. He was the best. Yes, and he was a huge help to us. So getting the right agent obviously is key.
Oh, it makes such a big difference.
It's huge.
And I honestly think you being so friendly and having such good people skills helped so much. Like,
it was fun.
If you're going to be one of those people who is pushy and tries to skirt the line and not treat people right and all of that, I really don't think you'll, and I'm not saying be manipulative, but I'm saying if you treat people well, they'll treat you well. Like,
Most of the
there's
time,
just a
yes.
mutual respect. Like, you know, like, I don't know, like, you had a really good relationship with that agent.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, we would travel. This is the end. We had about 2 months. We had our free meals, you know, morning, noon, and night.
6 weeks. Was it 6 weeks?
Actually, it was over because he extended it for us.
Yes.
Available for me.
Yes, he was. He was great.
Huge help.
But like the eating out was, at first it was awesome. Like I remember, like even the kids, like we all got so spoiled. But after about 2 weeks of it, you're kind of like,
yeah, Texas Roadhouse, right? We had IHOP. I mean, we're eating everywhere we want to eat. It was amazing.
Now we live in a very small town in rural America.
Yes.
And so in our town, we just have like a Casey's, a pizza place, and a Mexican, and a barbecue place. And that's all we have in our specific town. If we drive about 10 minutes, there's a few more places, but really to hit up the good things, it's about an hour drive. So, I mean, sometimes we just drive just to go to a different place to eat because we were so sick of our little town ones here, even though it was good. But
it was good.
It was funny though, because we had people who would pay for our meals.
And we told them, do not pay for our meals. I mean,
like,
we wanted to say, hey, put up a sign and say, hey, please don't pay for our meals.
Like strangers.
Insurance is paying for us.
Like, we have this happen to us frequently. I don't know why. Maybe because we're a big family. Usually when this happens is when Nate takes the kids out to eat by himself. So I don't know if people think you're a single dad.
People feel bad for me.
Or what, but he has people, strangers in restaurants, pay for his meal all the time, frequently.
It happened 3 times, which is quite a bit. 3 times in those 2.5 months, whatever it happened. 3 different times they paid for the full meal.
Twice in one day, someone paid for our breakfast. Someone paid for our supper at Texas Roadhouse. All the kids got ribs and steak. Like each kid got their own kids, and someone paid for it.
Well, I felt bad too because I mean these folks are just sweet people, nice people, and then we didn't need it, you know.
Yeah, because it was already paid for by insurance, but then they paid for it, and so we had to tell our insurance guy, sorry, a stranger paid for it, so I guess you don't have to reimburse them.
So, the other neat thing he did is he made instead of doing it for our insurance for black mold, he actually had it for water damage because that's really what happened.
Flood damage.
Flood damage, yes, flood damage. So flood damage, the amount of money is way higher. For mold damage, you usually only get about $5,000. So that's a tip. That's a tip, okay? So for you don't want to say, hey, we got mold damage. If it's from water, it's easily, and insurance can decide this, but it can easily be flood damage, and that's what you want to say. Hey, I've got flood damage, not black mold damage necessarily. The flood damage has caused the black mold. Yeah. But that's really, really important.
And you just want to talk with your insurance agent about that and see what they can do for you. If you go back and watch our video of what caused our black mold, it actually was water damage that caused it. So we had a leak in our dishwasher that caused all this standing water underneath our cabinets and caused a bunch of black mold and caused a lot of damage. So, yeah.
So insurance wise, I guess I would say
there's some things to know for people. We're not, just so you guys know, we're not like super savvy on all the legalities and technical stuff, all the terminology and all of that. We're just kind of sharing with you our experience, really, and hopefully it'll help in layman's terms.
I would just say, number one, first of all, the first thing is that the insurance does not want to pay you that much money, which is obviously it's their business. It's what they do.
Right. They want to save as much money.
They want to save as much money as they can, and so they're not going to give you that money up front. So don't be like us, and see the money and realize this is not going to cover what we need, and then have a meltdown maybe and say, hey, we need more money. That's normal. They're always going to do that.
Yeah, do that. So just know when they cut you the first check, they know that that's not enough.
Yeah, they always know
what
that.
needs. Yeah, so just know that there should be more coming. You just got to talk with them and say, really, you have to get estimates and quotes from contractors to say like, okay, this is.
So one of the things I would say about insurance that would save you lots of money is go with several different contractors. So don't just get one contractor quote, get several different contractor quotes.
We probably got, for each item of work that we needed done at our house, we probably got, what would you say, at least 3 quotes for each thing. So like for cabinets, we went to at least 3 different places and priced out what would it cost to get the same exact type of cabinets that we had before. What would that cost? So we were pricing out, so we had oak cabinets before, oak veneer, like the fake box store cabinets. Right. So that's what we were looking for price. Like if we're gonna replace exactly what was damaged, this is how much that costs. Well, then after they give you that money, you don't have to stay with oak cabinets. We decided to go with white. But basically for all your quotes, you wanna look at replacing exactly what was there before. So that really helped us with our countertop.
It did, yeah.
Because our countertop previously, it was a Formica, like laminate countertop, but it had this oak edging, which is really, really old school.
Yep.
And
doesn't look that good.
Well, yeah. I'm sure back in the day, people thought it was gorgeous. People probably are going to think our kitchen's kind of dated in about 20 years. That's okay.
Yeah.
But like our countertop, because of the oak edge, we were able to, like, we checked at like Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, and we're like, can you like find us a countertop that has this same type of thing? And nobody really makes that anymore. And so they were able to say, well, we'll have to special order this and that and that. And even though it's really ugly, it's going to cost you a lot of money to replace that exact, you know, a laminate countertop with the oak edging. And so we were able to get more money for that because we said, like, okay, if you're going to replace what was existing, what was damaged, is how much it actually costs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, another tip, another tip that something that would help you is that when you get the insurance money and let's just say you do a quote and you say, hey, Lowe's or Home Depot, or you name a place, Menards, this is how much the cabinets cost. I'm gonna need this much money. Don't forget to add in the tax from your state.
Oh yes.
Because that is not usually in there, and if you don't mention it, they're probably not going to give you that money. In fact, they're not going to give you that money for that tax.
When you turn in your quotes and estimates to the insurance, include that tax.
Yeah, make sure you include the tax because that is a big portion depending on what state you're in.
Think of every single little thing. So like, and the insurance is pretty good about thinking of this, but they had everything line itemed out. So they said like, okay, this is how much your cabinets cost, but this is how much it would cost to pay somebody to remove all your dishes from your cabinet and to store them, and this is how much it's going to pay somebody to clean up debris, and how much, like, they had all those line items in, so you can look at each of those. And obviously most of that work you're going to do yourself. You're not going to pay somebody unless you're handicapped or something. You're probably not going to be paying somebody to come and do those type of little jobs for you, but those are all line itemed out in there, and so you can look at each of those items and say, okay, is this actually enough money to cover what that needs to cover? But yeah, we got quotes for everything. You just kind of want to get quotes from different contractors, and then you give insurance the highest bid and then you go with whoever you actually want to go with, but you give them the highest bid because there's always going to be those hidden costs. You want to make sure you have enough money to cover.
No, it depends. It could be that you give them the highest bid, and if you give the highest bid, they say that's the one you need to go with. That's a possibility. I know for ours that wasn't the case. We didn't have to do that.
Oh yeah, they may force you to go with
they may
whatever
say, hey,
contractor.
Yeah, if you go the highest one, you say, hey, well, that's the one you're going with. But for ours, our agent knew, they knew ours was the highest one, and I was very upfront with him.
He was in constant
I was very upfront with him. We were not going to use it necessarily afterwards. I said, I said, I'm going to have friends doing some of this, but obviously I'm trying to make sure we can cover all our basis for this project. And he was fine with it. And we also had a situation where we could have got money for the flooring, but it was like, you know what, we got extra money. We'll just use the money that's here instead of just trying to milk the, insurance company and take money from them. So we weren't doing that at all. We wanted to make sure that we were fair by them as well. And obviously that we should have, we paid for the flooring ourselves.
And you were very fair and upfront with him. And I know that he really, really appreciated that. And I think that's why he was so lenient with a lot of things with us, because he knew, like, okay, these are honest people. They're not trying to smooth us over. They're just trying to get their stuff done. And
because, again, we didn't stay in a hotel for 2 months.
That really helped save a lot of money.
That saved a ton of money. You can add the math, the cost there, and do the math of staying in a hotel, 2 different hotel rooms for 2 months, and that will add up fast. So, yeah.
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 So yeah, so overall top takeaways, make sure you're in constant communication with your insurance agent, with your mortgage company if you still have a mortgage on your home. I think very top takeaway is be kind to people. I mean, really, that just goes so far. And again, not in a manipulative way to get what you want, but really just in a respect way, you know.
Right.
So
yeah, the adjusters are people too. They're just doing their job.
they are, yeah.
And they appreciate it when you appreciate them.
Yes.
So
absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys learned a lot about all of our ramblings about insurance. And
yes, a lot of ramblings.
Insurance can be kind of a boring subject, but if you're going through this process yourself, I hope that it's very helpful to you. As we have mentioned all throughout the video, a lot of these things may be different in your state or in your area, but again, I hope that this was helpful to give you a launching point off as you're going into this journey of remodeling using insurance money. I know that it can be a headache, can be a pain in some ways, but it's also, I mean, we just kept trying to remind ourselves through all the headache, through all the red tape, through all the rigmarole of dealing with the people and the procedures and paperwork and all that. We just kept reminding ourselves, this is such a blessing. Like, we are so blessed that they are remodeling our kitchen for us. So we really can't complain. I mean, we had to kind of have that mindset of,
we could complain, but it wouldn't do anything.
It wouldn't do any good. So if it is a headache, just remind yourself of that. This is a blessing. We are getting this and being able to remodel this when we maybe wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Thanks for joining us here.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll have a part 2 and a part 3.
Part 4 and 5, how it goes.
I don't know, on it goes. The content continues. But we'll cut this off here and we'll have a different video talking about kind of the price breakdown of what we did with that insurance money that we did get for our kitchen, what work we did ourselves, and what work we contracted out. So stay tuned for that.
And what work our friends did that we could not have done.
Oh yes, we are not fix-it people. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
See ya.